The reports are coming out saying that more than likely the deal is going to get done on draft day or on draft night. Of course, the thing that's been holding up the deal is the number one or first round pick that I think the Jets would have to give up, or the Packers want for Aaron Rodgers. So what they're saying is more than likely the deal is going to get done on draft night. And while no, it hasn't happened yet, it's pretty much a done deal that Aaron Rodgers is going to the Jets. The move that the Jets have made, getting Allen Lazard, trying to make a play for Odell Beckham Jr., which of course those are two names that was on Aaron Rodgers' preferred list of players to play with. More than likely the deal is going to get done. And I don't know if I talked about this on the podcast, so I'm going to talk about it now. And that is expectation. You see, when you get a player like Aaron Rodgers, usually the expectations are high. Usually the expectations, especially when the Jets feel like they are a piece away. The Jets feel like they are a quarterback away for being a viable contender for a Super Bowl. And they feel that Aaron Rodgers is the quarterback to get them over the hump. I think we need to I think the Jets and I think that fans in general need to damper their expectations. Now, I understand that, in my opinion, it would be a colossal failure if the Jets at least don't make it to the playoffs or make a deep run in the playoffs. Because, again, you get Aaron Rodgers, you have a really good defense, you have a really good offensive line, you have pieces, you have weapons. And again, the Jets would not make this move if they didn't feel that they were a quarterback away from being viable. And if you look at the division that they're in, there's a lot of, outside of, we don't know what's going on with the Patriots, the Bills, of course, you have to worry about with Josh Allen in that crew. And then, of course, with the Dolphins, while they have a really good team, you don't know about their quarterback, which is, of course, Tua and his health, and if he's able to stay healthy, and if he will be able to stay healthy in key situations. But I think that we have to damper our expectations a little bit. Again, I'm not saying that the Jets can't make a deep run. And I'm not even saying that they can't make it to at least the AFC Championship. But what I'm saying is that kind of needs to happen. Because expectations are different now. Usually when we talk about the Jets, the expectations aren't that high. But with a player like Aaron Rodgers comes different type of expectations, especially when, for lack of a better term, these aren't my words, but people have said he has been more of a headache than, you see, one thing that I've always said, and one thing that people say, so this isn't an original thought, is that your talent will allow people to forgive a lot of character flaws, if you want to call it that. Again, the reason why some players have got, I'm not going to say any names, some players have gotten more opportunities than other, even if you don't feel like they deserve the opportunity, is because they're talented. And a team is going to, they understand, all right, he's a headache off the field, off the court, but he's still one of the best players in the league. Or he still could possibly be one of the best players in the league. He still could possibly help us win multiple games. You see, no team, I say that a lot. Side note, I say you see a lot. I realized that last episode, but we're here. All right, let's get back to it. No team would ever deal with a player that continues to tippy-toe the line of, I'm going to retire, I'm not going to retire, I'm not coming back if you don't sign these players, I'm going to go into a darkness retreat and I'll let you know during the beginning of free agency. No team would tolerate or hinge their present and future on a player like that if they were not a top tier talent. And that's what Aaron Rodgers is. Aaron Rodgers, I mean, he's a 4-time MVP. Well, no, he did win a Super Bowl, but he hasn't won. He's only been to one Super Bowl. But he's still widely considered one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. But here's why I say you should damper expectations. Again, Aaron Rodgers has only been to one Super Bowl. And you were playing on a Green Bay team that really only had to worry about what? Maybe one or two. Like, I understand making this move. You expect Super Bowls. Or you expect to be viable for a Super Bowl. Kind of like when the Denver Broncos made the move to get Russell Wilson. Now, I will contend that I do still believe in Russell Wilson. I think that last season was more of an anomaly than anything. I think that, poor coaching, poor scheme, injuries, especially when you talk about most of his wide receiver core. Now, yes, I think a lot of that was Russell Wilson, and he just didn't have a good season, but I do still believe that Russell Wilson is good enough for a bounce back, and the Russell Wilson that we've seen, the last 9 years, is more indicative of who he is instead of the one that we saw last year. But when the Denver Broncos got Russell Wilson, a lot of people, including myself, thought that this could be the move to propel them to Super Bowl heights. And when I say Super Bowl heights, I'm not saying win the Super Bowl, but at least be in contention to win or to play for a Super Bowl, or to be one of those teams that we talk about that should be one of those top tier teams that could be viable for a Super Bowl. That's the furthest thing that we got. You see, in football, a lot of things have to go right. You have to have a good quarterback. You have to have a good offensive line. You have to have a good running back. You have to have a good coach. You have to have a good defense. There's so many things that have to go right for your team just to be viable for a Super Bowl. And while, yes, the Jets check a lot of those boxes off, there are still some boxes that I feel are up in question, i.e., is Robert Saleh the coach to win them a Super Bowl or to put them in position to be the Super Bowl? I think he's an incredible coach. But as we've seen the last few Super Bowls, a defensive or a offensive-minded coach has won the Super Bowl. And as we've seen, Robert Saleh is a defensive-minded coach. I mean, he was a defensive coordinator for the 49ers, I believe. So, and on top of that, look at the team success, or the lack thereof team success, that Aaron Rodgers has had. He's had one Super Bowl. But outside of that, he's been to multiple playoffs. He's been to NFC championships, lost most of them. He coined the phrase, I hope that they're able to, what happens if they play? We want to get a home court advantage for the playoffs. They got bounced by the 49ers. What I'm saying is this. Unlike the Russell Wilson hype, going to the Denver Broncos, I feel that the expectation need to be dimmed a little bit for the Jets with Aaron Rodgers. I think that they're going to be a good team, but you also have to realize Aaron Rodgers is about, and I don't think Aaron Rodgers is scared. I don't think that he's not good enough to compete. But let's not be naive here. Aaron Rodgers now is not the Aaron Rodgers of before. Obviously, with age, he has been beat up. He's been sacked a lot. Aaron Rodgers, even though he did win a MVP, 2 years ago or a year ago, he is not the same player. Does that mean he's still good? Yes. I'm not saying he's trash, but he's not the same Aaron Rodgers that if you place him on a team, he is the de facto option that can lead you, that can propel you above. He needs more help. And now when you're in a conference that has Patrick Mahomes, that has Joe Burrow, that has Justin Herbert, that has Josh Allen, currently that has Lamar Jackson, that's going to be tough. That's going to be tough. So while I think the Jets will be good, and I think that if they don't make a deep playoff run at least the second round or at least the AFC championship, I think it would be a failure, especially with all the moves that they made. But for the people that's expecting the Jets to be Super Bowl contenders with Aaron Rodgers, I don't know about that. And honestly, to be completely honest with you, I think the Jets believe that. Because they wouldn't be making all these moves if they didn't. If they thought that Aaron Rodgers was going to make them serviceable or make them a tad bit better, they wouldn't be making all these moves to try to get Aaron Rodgers at all. The Jets feel like Aaron Rodgers puts them in the best position to win a Super Bowl. And all I'm saying is I don't know about that right now. Oh, man, you stayed to the end of the video. I appreciate you. If you like what you saw, be sure to hit that subscribe button so you'll never miss any content from your boy. You can also go back and watch past episodes, past clips, and don't forget that the Unpopular Podcast, new episodes drop every Wednesday and Saturday. Appreciate you.